Hello, everyone. How are you? If you're returning, wonderful. If you're new, hello. My name is Linda, and this is our fifth video that we've been doing on tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique, a technique that frees you of negative emotions. A self-healing tool that is about acupuncture and modern psychology. That is how it's explained. There is the science behind it that has been proven. If you go on YouTube and you type in, search in tapping EFT, you will find so many people talking about this wonderful self-healing tool and showing you various proofs of the scientific value and how it does change people's lives forever. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I've been using this myself for years. I discovered it, after asking Spirit for some help for my clients because my clients were going through a lot of stress and strife about 15 years ago. And I just, even though I taught mindset and things like that at the time, I still felt there was something else I could do. And I said, please, is there something else I can help them? And months later, I found The Tapping Solution by Nick Ortner, which is a wonderful book. It was the first book he put out. I bought it, I read it twice, and since then I have been so passionate about this amazing, amazing gift from the heavens. And I know that's where it came from. It was sent down here to somebody who knew how to handle it, and it went from strength to strength until it was created into what it is today. And we are working with the meridians of the body. We are working with pressure points, acupressure points when we do tapping. It is such an easy self-healing tool and this is being taught in many schools now in different parts of the world. Children are being taught because of the stressful lives that some of them may be going through. I mean, not all children grow up in a beautiful household where they're loved unconditionally, and not all children are happy. They might be brought up in a home where there's arguments, fighting. There might be drugs. A terrible environment for the little darlings. And of course, if they go to school, they're stressed out because their little minds don't understand. I mean, it's a cruel way to be brought up, but it's a fact. It's a fact. We have to face the facts that not everybody out there really brings children up the way they're meant to. And so these little babies, they go through a lot of fear and stress and strife from the time they're very young. And so a lot of people have brought in, a lot of schools have brought in tapping to teach them. And they go through tapping sessions, um, throughout the week or whatever. I don't know exactly how often they do it, but they teaching them how to handle different emotions. Just as some schools now have introduced meditation. Some classes they quieten the children and just ask them just to be peaceful for a little while and just to do some breathing before they start class. Boy, if we didn't, if we only did that in every school on this planet, we'd probably have some more peaceful children, wouldn't we? Anyway, we come at hope. As I said, my name is Linda. I'm from Australia. I live in the Sunshine Coast of Brisbane, and I'd love to hear where you're from. If you find today that this helps you, we would so much appreciate your comments, feedback, and also a little tick if you would like to do that. We would be so very grateful. So I want you to just be safe, know that you're totally safe with us. Okay, you are totally safe. There's no there's no harm. You can't do any harm with this. It's impossible because of the way we go around things. And I'm going to explain this to you. The very first meridian point that we tap on is called the Karate chop. It's this here, and I always I just go up and down here. And what this is the meridian actually of fear of a new experience. It's actually fearful of change. And so we have to talk to it and explain to it that we want to acknowledge something. that has happened to us or that we're experiencing. And when we do that, like for example, we start off saying, even though I have this terrible fear in my body, I deeply, deeply love and accept myself. So we're saying to this meridian, you know, and I know I've got this fear. But even though I have that fear in my body, I love myself. I love my body. I love who I am. Okay. And so that's really what we're doing. And we're starting off, we do three, and it takes about three um, confirmations, really, three times. We say something three times. We go around three times with each routine here to actually get it through. It does take about three goes to get it through to the body through these points that we tap on through the meridians. It's quite interesting. And so as I go through with this, you will see what I mean. You'll see how, the way I speak and what I say, you'll see what I mean. So please tap with me. We're going to tap on different points on the body. This one here, the eyebrows, is for trauma. The side of the eye is for confusion and uncertainty, internal confusion, decisions and uncertainties, but you just don't know. Under the eye is anxiety and stress. When we get under the nose, we're looking at the feeling of unsupported. This is unsupported, and not coping and being overwhelmed is here. Fear is here, and rejection is under the armpit. And this is at the assimilating point. When we tap on here, this is the process of receiving new facts and responding to new situations. Okay, so this is what that does. Now, these points, we go around, we tap on all of them, and I'm now going to do fear. And so whenever I get to that point, even though that this point, for example, is anxiety and stress, doesn't matter. It's being told that it's the fear. We know the fears. They're all we're, we're getting rid of the fear when we go our second time around. So don't worry about the actual. Now this is the fear meridian, and the chin, the chin is being overwhelmed, and we're saying, well, I'm releasing all this fear. Well, that's going to get rid of being overwhelmed because of fear. So don't worry. The body listens and the body responds in a good healing way. So please have faith. And so let's get going. Let's get started. I've got an itchy nose. Sorry. It's the change of seasons, spring here, and I've got a property next to me, and here in Australia, we have a tree called the wattle tree. The wattles, you've probably heard of the wattles. Look, they're beautiful trees, but they send out these little spores, tiny little spores. And for people like myself who suffer with sinuses, we get a response. So you'll have to excuse me, I beg your pardon. Okay, let's get going. Okay, take a deep breath. And it's a good idea to take a big drink of water too. I should have mentioned that before because we're talking about your energy field here. We're going to be working with your energy field. So that's a good idea because I don't want you to get a little headache or anything. So, if you want to stop the video and get a big glass of water, that's fine. Okay. So now we are tapping. Even though, just say after me out loud, even though I have this fear in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I know I have fear in my body. However, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All of this fear that's in my body, I know it's there. I acknowledge it. However, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Take a deep breath. And now we're going to go around. Just say after me and tap on the points. All of this fear, just gently tap on the point. And right the corner of your eye there. All of this fear in my body. You come around to the side of your eye. All of this fear. Then under the eye, this around here, this bone around here, all of this fear in my body. Okay. Then under the nose, this little ridge right in the middle, all of this fear in my body. Right here in the middle of your chin, right there, all of this fear in my body. the collarbones, either one of them or both, it doesn't matter. If you tap on this one listens. If you tap on that one, this one listens. They're connected. And so I have a habit of always going like this, the thumb on that one and my hands on that. So all of this fear in my body, or you could tap on one. Under the armpit, the ladies just above the top of your bra, gentlemen in the middle of your armpit, come down, cut about 2 inches. That's around about it. But you could just go like that, just like that. It'll echo through. Then up to the top, simulation, all of this fear in my body. And again, we're doing it 3 times, all of this fear. All of this fear in my body. All of this fear that I've had since, and you say something, since I was frightened. You could say that. All of this fear in my body. All of this fear that I've been carrying for many, many years. All of this fear that was created by, and if somebody created all this fear by, say their name, say it. Don't be frightened. Please say it. Acknowledge who did this to you. Okay, if that's the case. All of this fear in my body, all of this fear, all of this fear that I've been carrying since the car accident, all of this fear that I've had in my body since that happened, this happened, all of this fear in my body, all of this fear just makes me feel so unsupported. All of this fear, past and present, all of this fear that I've been carrying since, and you say, since I was frightened. My brother frightened me once, since I was frightened about heights. I should say that because he frightened me once when I was at the top of Windsor Castle looking down, and my brother went, woo, like that, and it frightened the hell out of me, and I've had the fear of heights ever since. You could say something like that. You notice I'm still tapping. All the fear that I've been carrying since my brother frightened me when I was standing on the top of Windsor Castle. That's exactly what happened, and I'm terrified of heights now. So I'm saying it, and I'm going to get rid of it today. All of this fear, all of this fear, all of this fear in my body. That's just an example, folks. All this fear in my body, a true example of how fear can carry out through our life. All of this fear in my body, all of this fear. And if you've been abused sexually, emotionally, all this fear in my body, all of this fear, if you've been through a really domestic, violent sort of a situation, talk about it now. And this, while you're doing this with me, all of this fear, while you're with me. Now, spit it out. Or the next time if you do this with me, then you feel confident enough, spit it out about what happened, who did it, because your body knows, and you need to acknowledge it with your body. If somebody, if you were in a terrible physical but violent relationship, you say all of this fear caused by the abuse from such a, and you go through and you acknowledge it. Please say it. You're not bringing it back and reliving it, darlings. You are accepting it happened to you. It happened. And your body knows it happened. So say to your body, I know this happened. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm now about to get rid of that fear. That's what we're going to do now. Take a deep breath. That's what we're doing. And that's why we need to acknowledge this. I now choose to release all of the fear in my body. I now choose to release all of the fear that was caused by blah, blah, blah. For my brother pushing it, having fun with me. Or I now choose to release all of the fear that was done to me by, I now choose to release all of the fear in my body. I now choose to release all of the fear I've been carrying for so many years past and the fear of present. I now choose to release all fear within. I now choose to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I'm releasing it now. I'm letting it go. I'm letting go all this fear now. I'm releasing all of this fear right now. I no longer hold on to any more fear. I'm releasing it now. I'm letting it go. I'm releasing it right now. Now, releasing it now. Letting it go. 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 Take a deep breath. It's very possible that you've already got it all churned up. I wouldn't be surprised because the fear one is a very powerful, it's a very powerful healing. Fear is one of the worst emotions to the human body. Um, I know I can feel that some of you are really, really feeling this now. Some of you may even have headache because because you've just released a nasty thing. Fear is a terrible, terrible emotion, and it really sits up here, sits up there and affects down here the body. And so, those of you who are shedding tears at the moment, please just shed them. Please just let them go, let it go, because you're letting some of it out. You're not letting all of it out because you've still got to work on this. But you're letting a lot of it out. And you can come back to this video anytime and tap with me, any of the 5 videos on tapping that I'm releasing today. So just know that they're always there waiting for you. You can always come on. And fear is something that many of us, well, I think all of us, I think everybody experiences at some time. Fear is that fight and flight thing. And this is what this is all about. Fight and flight. And what can happen, darlings, if you've been through, for example, if you have been through like a car accident and it left you fearful, it's left you terrified of going in a car, terrified of if you were driving, maybe you've lost all your courage to drive. If you've been in a violent relationship, and you've come out of it, but you've still got all those memories, those shocking memories throughout life. Things can trigger us. 10 years down the track, something might happen. You might be walking down the street, and you might hear the screeching of the brakes of a car, and that was the noise that you heard when you were in that accident, and it'll trigger that fight and flight within you. And what that does is that brings up stress. It creates stress and it churns up that fear again. This is how the body is. This is how the mind is, mind, body, soul. This is the way it is, the way it works. And we need those attributes within us for good stuff, but it can also be detrimental to us. And that's why it's important for us to take responsibility for protecting ourselves and for helping ourselves and for keeping ourselves emotionally healthy. Negative thoughts, fearful thoughts, create lots and lots of other horrible emotions. They really do. They bring out what they can do, what fear can do for some of us. It can take us into our dark side, and we don't want that. But it very often can. Sometimes criminals are coming from a background of terrible fear, shocking fear that's never been removed, or sometimes people don't even realise what happened to them. And so they go through life, with this terrible emotion, and it brings out some of the nasty side that normally a happy person and a loved person wouldn't even experience. And so the mind, body, soul is fascinating, but you've got to learn to understand it, and you've got to learn to trust that it's up to us, darlings. It's up to us to take responsibility for us. If you can worry about other people and you can help other people, That's a wonderful gesture. But what about you? It's important that you look after you because then you'll be a bigger shining beacon to others then, which is probably what you'd prefer. You'd probably prefer to be that person who walks without fear, walks without stress, walks without anxiety. These videos that I've done, these 5 videos, they cover both 5 different emotions. And I've worked with the tapping for a long time. And doing these, as I've done each video, I've actually given myself a self-healing as well. I mainly conquered my fears when I first started tapping years ago. I got rid of a lot of my fears, especially around finances, because I was brought up with by a beautiful, gorgeous mum who was always worried about her last penny, and so she was always expressing that, so that gets up here, all of us, us kids, copped it, I think, and our lifestyles were all of us, I think, lifestyle revolved around that thought about money, that fear about money. So I conquered that. And since I conquered it, I went ahead, moved forward, and my life became very abundant. And naturally, abundance just came. I had no more fear about where the money was coming from, no more fear about it. I just never thought about it anymore. A bill would come in and I'd say, oh, well, I'll fix that up, fix that up. So just let it go, not worry about it. I knew I'd circle when it was due. I knew I had plenty of time to pay for it. No, I'm right. Worried about it. Before I used to tap, I used to think, oh God, I'd better make sure maybe I should pay it early, or I had all these silly hang-ups. And now they don't exist anymore, darlings. They really don't. I don't allow myself to get stressed. I sometimes get stressed because of the way the world is. The world is stressful. I think I talked about in the first video, stress. I think I mentioned about the world's technology of today, how magnificent it is, but how frustrating it is because somebody my age, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, because I look younger than I am, but I was around long before computers. So if I needed to talk to somebody about maybe my gas bill or my phone bill, I would dial a number and talk to somebody. There would be somebody at the end of the thing. Not this push number one, if the push number two. Oh God. So if you've experienced that, the way they do it now is very frustrating. And I get all. And so but I've taught myself now, come on, that's not going to do you any good. And so when you do eliminate all your stresses, your traumas, your pain, your fear, your guilt, when you get rid of all these things, you do walk a much peaceful path, a much better path for your own benefit for you. So I hope that you've enjoyed this topic today on fear. You will get a response. You will get a shift. Some of you may have already experienced that. Some of you, I have had clients that have contacted me and said, oh my God, the next day, I just burst into tears out of the blue. I was backing and I just burst into tears. Another lady, she had a long session with me, and the next day she was driving down the motorway and she had to pull over and she cried. She cried she don't know how long, she just cried. Another lady woke up at 1:30 in the morning and burst into tears. And this was all after we'd done tapping on stress and trauma, especially trauma with parents, trauma that you go through with your parents and the stress that you go through with parents. If you can eliminate all of that, then you really are on a winning streak, because our parents, some of us, our parents, even though some of us had wonderful parents, a lot of us still had very stressful parents because of the lifestyle they were going through. They did verbalize it and we took it all in. So do this tapping on fear. If you would like to give us a tick, that would be wonderful. If you'd like to give us some feedback, that would be wonderful. I'd love to hear where you're from. If you'd like to subscribe, please click the little bell so you get all of them. If you decide, no, I don't want to subscribe, well, that's okay. I still love you. You can still see me anytime you want. Just come on my channel. I'll be here giving you advice and help from the spirit realm. That's what we do. And so until next time, my loves, I'd like to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. Please, please take tapping seriously, really look into it. When you feel the difference, just know it's a tool from the heavens. It really is a tool from our Creator to help us, to help human, mankind, because we need to heal. And our bodies will heal. Our bodies can self-heal if it's getting the right information from up here. This is it, you know. Mm. I am at peace within. I am safe and secure. There are so many wonderful things you can say to yourself. Um, I have no fear. You just tap on the fear meridians. I have no fear. I have no fear. And it all happens. Okay, until next time, take care.